All right, everyone, welcome back here to game number 2 now of this live scrimcast coming at you between FiveBabushka here on the Legion side going up against Big Ego Crew on the Hellborn side. We just saw FiveBabushka take game number 1 here with the Forsaken Archer carry, reaching upwards of almost 700 gold per minute. So we have the bands done here already, the blind bands. We have Engineer, Aluna, and Kinesis going to be banned out here by FiveBabushka. Then we have Shadowblade, Sandwraith, and Nitro going to be banned out here by our Hellborn side, Big Ego Crew. So we have a first pick of Magmus coming out. It's been quite a while since we've seen some Magmus on the scene. Very, very powerful hero with that Lava Surge. We see the Moira and the Torturer. Once again, we are going to see the Torturer. So they're not done picking the Torturer here. As they just love the Folka has got to be so happy playing this much Torturer. Um, he gets a little excited when people ban it against him in TMM. Uh, they do not want him playing that Torturer. So you get to see Torturer here again in game number 2. Now we have the Chipper going to be picked up here with the Magmus. So great setup there from the Magmus to start off those Chipper rockets. Very, very scary combo of heroes. And I think it's safe to say we've been seeing a lot of support Chipper, either as a position for secondary support or even sometimes as a main support. But with the Magmus there as well, and now they pick up the Flux, I think it's safe to say we could be seeing a core Magmus, but it could also be the secondary support as they now have the Flux picked up for one of those core positions to most likely either go into the long lane or the mid lane. And we will now go into the second banning stage here. So we have Artillery going to be the first ban here from Big Ego Crew. And Sir Bensington and Kronos will be the second and third ban. So they are addressing some of those team fight kind of carries that would be very synergistic with a Flux. We have Master of Arms in the Rally going to be banned out here by FiveBabushka, which they actually picked up both those heroes in game number 1. So they're kind of saying, hey, we beat you with these heroes. We're not going to let you guys get your hands on them if you want to run them. Then we got one more ban coming up before Big Ego Crew gets to pick 2 heroes. We will have the Malakan ban coming out. So once again, it looks like Dutch is not here today. We will be having Soul in his place, and Shortcan is actually allowing Kevin to do the drafting this time. I believe Shortcan did draft last game. Oh, all right. Kevin, you get 2 thumbs up from me. You guys can't see my thumbs, but they're up right now. Sapphire, that I'm excited for. So, Volka is no doubt excited for his Tort. I am excited for some Sapphire. And I think we're going to see Huge Soul, aka Puppet Soul, Mr. Kevin, playing the Sapphire. He's been playing that a little bit lately, perhaps practicing it for this upcoming tournament. But oh baby, I am excited to see some Sapphire, and I hope that he gets very farmed because I want to see that shard just melt away the Legion side. No bias, of course, just really love the Sapphire. We're gonna see the Shell Shock coming out on top. So some extra minus armor with the Sanctuary Stone passive effect there from the snail. So to amplify that shard damage, I'm kind of digging that combo a little bit. We'll see if it ends up being very powerful or not. But they're going to immediately pick up the Swiftblade, a hero that is very good against heroes like the Shell Shock and the Sapphire with that Blade Frenzy. Being able to go magic immune. Very, very powerful option there. I like the pickup, and they're even going to go with a Flint Beastwood here as a secondary core. We'll probably see that played in the mid lane, which means we are going to have a position 3 Flux with a secondary support Magnus. So a interesting tricore here of the Swiftblade, Flint, and Flux. And to be quite honest, I would not be surprised to see Big Ego Crew pick up a secondary core here to back up that Sapphire. They do already have the Torturer, but okay, so they're going to go with another Initiator in the Pharaoh. That I do like actually. They have a lot of immobile heroes, being the Flint, the Flux, and the Swiftblade. Even the Chipper as well. Anybody who gets caught by that Wrath of the Pharaoh is more or less going to be locked down without the assistance of something like a Tablet of Command. So very, very powerful pick here, going up against specifically the Flint and the Swiftblade. So I do love that Pharaoh pick. We'll see if Pharaoh can get the farm he needs this game to kind of be very, very annoying for this Legion side, but I do like the way they have built their lineup this game. They have the Snail and the Pharaoh to more or less frontline for heroes like the Torture and the Sapphire. So they're going to pick up once again 2 ranged scaling cores here on the side of Big Ego Crew. So game 2 is now underway. It looks like we are going to have what looks like to be a tri-lane down here at the bottom lane. They ran that aggressive tri-lane last game. They're going to go with a defensive tri-lane this game with the Swiftblade. Try to get him that farm. They have Chipper and Magnus as the supports. And then Flux will be going up into that off lane with Flint Beastwood in the mid lane. So Sapphire and Moira look like they're going to be going to the mid lane up against that Flint. Then we have Pharaoh 1 versus 1 against the Flux, which is actually a matchup I think we could see Flux do quite well in. As long as he does buy items to contest that lane, not buy the boots. And then we have, looks like Snail and Torturer. Oh my god, they don't have Torturer on Volca. I am so sad. I am so sad for you, Volca. I was really rooting for you with that Torturer pick, but it looks like Mex forgot to swap you. So they're actually gonna have the Torture played on the secondary support here, and then Shortcan is going to be playing that position 3, I think, Shell Shock, and then this will be more or less a position 2 Pharaoh. So they're not going to be putting farm on the Torture this game. I was expecting the Snail to be more of a support, but they are going to be putting farm on him. So we will see how this does end up working out for them. And it's safe to say they are expecting great things from Pharaoh, as he is going to be given a 1 versus 1 matchup here. So they're going to want him to get very tanky, be very, very annoying once the mid game starts to roll around. Valenti is going to spec his Deadeye here. He's going to have that extra range. They're going to try to box him off those creeps. He does not have any creep kills right now, but he does have 3 coming the way of his tower. The Sapphire got 3 out of the 4 there. Bottom lane. This is a pretty difficult lane for Torture to step up into specifically. If he gets caught by a Lava Surge on top of the Blade Frenzy, it will be pretty difficult for him. But we already have the Firefly skilled here by the Snail. He's been spamming that out and getting some of those last hits, putting a lot of pressure on the Swiftblade already. Top lane, we have a 3-1 Pharaoh against 2-2 Flux, still very early on. Oh, Flit, he's 3-2. He's actually getting some farm here. Stun from Moira is not going to connect. Moira is definitely not the best dual mid hero. I do think it would have been better to have Torture mid, but at the same time, Moira with Snail doesn't seem to be the strongest man up lane either. So Moira not going to be really all that useful in either the mid or the long lane. But she will do very well later on. They're going to get these camps stacked up, and once Sapphire gets some levels in that unstable shard, they can look to take out the camps there. So we have no kills just yet. Pretty passive laning phase. We have Switchblade and Flux doing very well. They're already the top 2 farmers of the game. Flint not doing too badly compared to the Sapphire, who is 2 versus 1. He's 8 and 3 against 6 and 5. Flint is doing pretty well considering he is 1 versus 2. Here comes the shard though, the stun though from the shards of Harkon, but Magnus is here with the double damage, and they're gonna turn this around and get the bloodlust kill onto that Moira. Sapphire is going for a return kill. He is going to get it. Pops the health potion, but it is going to come at a cost there, so he does trade himself for that Flint Beastwood, but Magnus with the boots and the double damage picks up the second kill there. Top lane, we have a wall on the Flux. Moira is here with the Shards of Harkon, and that will be a kill on the Flux. So Moira respawns, goes to the top lane, and sets up an easy kill there on the Flux. So we have Sapphire going to the bottom rune here. Magnus going to contest the Moira here. He's going to disjoint that Shards of Harkon stun and steal away that regen. So Flint, he does go for the bottle. He's already level 5. We have Magnus here in the top lane. Perhaps thinking about setting up a kill here on the Pharaoh. Moira doing a creep pull as well. What's the Snail doing down here? He's 275 gold per minute now against the Switchblade, who is 370. He is the top farmer. Moira is going to spawn that forge. She will stun up the Flux. No kill gonna come out of that. Sapphire putting 3 points in the quick shield so she can block quite a bit of damage here. Magnus coming in. I don't know if they have the damage to bring down the Sapphire. No, he is level 6 on the Flint. Magnus gonna take some pressure here from the Shard. But they should not have the damage here. Oh, Torture is here actually. He lands the chain reaction stun. So that is why they were feeling very confident. They had Torture coming in from the backside. The Switchblade continues to be the top farmer in the game. He's at 380 gold per minute. We have Pharaoh doing very well against the Flux with that one gank. But now we have level 6 on the Flux. This could be a kill here. The wall is down. Flux, he did not have mana for that pull as he ran into that wall of mummies. They need a health potion there from the Moira. And Sapphire, she's working on those stacks with that level 1 shard. And try to bring down the camp here. Yep, I was gonna say you should put another point there in the shard. Bottom lane, they get the kill there on the snail with the Swift Slashes. Magma's coming in with Chipper, so 3 versus 1. Meanwhile, mid lane, they get the kill there on the Flint. But he does get a return kill first on the Torture, so a couple of kills happening in both the mid and the bottom lane. Sapphire now up to 320 gold per minute, and Flint dropping below the 300. And he still has this triple stack to work on, as he now has 3 points in the Unstable Shard. He's going to almost be able to take out that stack there. And Wrath of the Pharaoh here on the Flux. Moira here as well. She has the Shards of Archon up in 1 second, but it's not going to be necessary. As they get that kill. Pharaoh has the maxed out Hellfire. Shellshock gonna run in here in the mid lane. There's the shard down from Sapphire. And they're gonna get that kill there on the Flint Beastwood. Magmus gonna get Mana Sunder by the Moira. Can he get his Lava Surge off? He could not, so he will fall as well. It's a double tap coming out for Snail as he picks up those plated greaves. Ooh, Flux is, he's not done just yet. That's going to be a kill there on the Pharaoh as he's able to chase him down with that release. Meanwhile, in the jungle here, Sapphire and company, they're going to try to steal away these stacks. Magmus is here, though, but he's all by himself. The rockets are coming in. They're going to miss on the target there, and Magmus has no Lava Surge for 8 more seconds. So they steal away some of the stacks here. Swiftblade is here with a Blade Frenzy. He's going in on the Snail, but now he changes targets, and there's the Stay still coming out. They do lose the Moira, and the Money Shot connects onto Snail. The double tap does come out here for Flint Beastwood, so they do punish that overextension here by Big Eagle, who's stealing away that stack in the jungle. And we now see a 1700 gold lead in favor of FiveBabushka. Their Switchblade is 420 gold per minute, and they have 360 gold per minute on the Flint. Rather, the Pharaoh will connect here on the Flux with the Hellfire down. There's the Moira spawn. He's going to use that Shards of Harkon stun. There's the Chain Reaction stun from Torture as well. And they do bring down the Flux once again. Here comes a roll on the Flint Beastwood. Everyone's getting in the van. Will they be able to reach the Shell Shock in time is the question. There's the Chain Reaction stun from Torture. The wall on top from the Pharaoh and Flint Beastwood. He will get caught and he goes down. The Unstable Shard as well coming in from Sapphire, as he now has the Ghost Marchers and the Brass Knuckles picked up. Switchblade going to be pressuring this bottom lane here. He picks up a Sustainer. Looks like he will be going that Cleaver. Flux is going to get that ward countered. We have Magmus stacking the jungle here. Flux with the Veiled Rod there, trying to set up a bait here with Flint Beastwood hitting the tower. Flux is going to run into Sapphire. He's going to go in, but there is an Arcane Vortex going to stop the Flux. Moira going to go in with the Shards of Harkon. It will not connect there on the Flux. There is the stun with the Unstable Shard from Sapphire. And Flux is just a little bit too tanky there. They don't have the follow-up. He's going to use a defensive discharge. Pharaoh is now here. He will line up the wall. There's the release from Flux, but he will go down. Pharaoh still has his Wrath of the Pharaoh ready to go. but not going to be necessary. Haste Rune will spawn here for the Sapphire. So we have Flint and the Switchblade working on some stacks together, as we don't have the Cleaver yet on the Switchblade. But he remains the top farmer in the game. And across the board, we have pretty decent farm on both teams. With the two intermediate farmers being the Sapphire and the Pharaoh a little bit above the Flint. But the Flux and the Snail more or less on equal GPM. There's Snail picking up a Soul Trap. Wrath of the Pharaoh here in the top lane on the Flux. Now we have a Veiled Rod on the Magnus. He's going to use the Lava Surge there on the Sapphire. And Flux is trying to make the escape. He's going to get headbutted backward. A couple more auto attacks. Will it be enough for the kill here on the Sapphire? He's going to use the Stay Still. He's going to get the one kill, but he will fall to the money shot.
Mission complete.
So we have Knuckles on the Flint. He picks up a Quick Blade. We'll see if he builds that into a Firebrand or a Nullfire Blade. Could both be some options for him. So Blade is getting very close to his Cleaver now. He needs a couple more 100 gold before he gets that recipe. So they get the tower there in the mid lane from the creeps. And they should be stacking the jungle pretty soon here. There's the Cleaver on Switchblade. We have a couple of Veiled Rods being used here by our Hellborn side. Torture and the Shell Shock specifically. Bottom lane, the tower, maybe going to fall. The dive coming out in the mid lane on the Flint. So while this is going on, they get the tower kill here. We have the Ephemeral Forge scouting things out. But a very deep dive there on the Flint. So they do not get any kind of return kills for that. So we have almost the Shroud on Sapphire here. It's getting very close. We have completed Shaman's Headdress now on the Pharaoh. Looks like he'll be going for the Barrier Idol. A little bit surprised we're not seeing the puzzle box here. I was expecting the puzzle box, as it's very good against the Switchblade. But he's gonna choose to go for the Barrier Idol here. So there we have the Shroud picked up on Sapphire now. A lot of gold saved up on the Snail. We could see him go for something like a Dreamcatcher or even a Spell Sunder to just kind of be very annoying with that Firefly. Switchblade picks up an Abyssal Skull, so he will have some lifesteal now. to work with. He's playing very aggressively up here in the top lane. We have Sapphire down here in the bot lane with a haster in his bottle. See what he decides to go for as his next item. I'm expecting him to go for either the full Conjuro or some kind of defensive item like a Nullstone or a Shrunken. But we'll see what he goes for. He could have a fight brewing here. Here comes the Wrath of the Pharaoh on the Magnus. They are going to get the Mana Sunder on that Magnus, and he will get headbutted down by that Reckless Charge of Sapphire. So that will be the one kill there on the Magnus. So we have Legion going for the Kongor here. Okay, we do see the Firebrand picked up on the Flint. So he's going to be that secondary core. Okay. So played ulted the Kongor. Yeah, Magnus farming the bot lane, trying to get his PK. He's getting very close. It's a few hundred more gold. Pharaoh is not going for the idol. Okay. Huh. Is he going for a Dreamcatcher? I'm not too sure why he would go for a Dreamcatcher here. Or maybe he's going for Helm of the Black Legion. Which is another, I would say, interesting item pickup. Because I feel like, okay, they get the kill there on the Magnus down at the bot lane. I feel like Puzzle Box would be much better than the Helm of the Black Legion or the Dreamcatcher. I'm actually not too sure why they go for the Dreamcatcher here. So top lane, we have a Flux Pull coming in on the Pharaoh. Sapphire is here. He does have the, what's it called? The Crystallize. Chainsaws are down. You're going to get the one kill there on the Chipper. You're going to spot out the Flux here. If you can get the Reckless Charge off, that's going to be 2 kills. That was a great team response coming in from Big Ego Crew to counter gank that initial gank coming out from FiveBabushka. And they're going to turn this into a tier 1 tower push. Now the tower is very low. They still have Switchblade farming very well. He's 570 gold per minute. But he's still not very, very threatening. He does have only a Firebrand on top of that Cleaver and Abyssal Skull. So he's still very vulnerable to dying. Switchblade going to try to steal away the Hellborn's Ancients here with the help of Flint. Oh boy, that that rocket might have just scouted Switchblade out, and they have a Bound Eye as well on the Switchblade. So there is the full Ganjuro on the Sapphire. She's going to go for the very offensive route here, and I think I like it. I think they do need the damage output as they are going up against a duo core lineup here of the Flint with the Switchblade. And the Sapphire is going to need to be hitting very, very hard. So we'll most likely now see a defensive item picked up on the Sapphire. We will see some ancients being stolen here. Very passive game though, in comparison to game number 1. We only have 24 kills here. Most of them here for Big Ego Crew. But the game is still relatively even, so it tells you the story of the Legion side doing very well in terms of the resource management, as they are down by 8 kills, but they are still not losing by very much golden XP. So the question is, what will Swiftblade buy as his follow-up to this Firebrand? We have, looks like Shellshock going for a staff? Okay, I was not expecting him to go for a staff. Not sure if that's the best pickup. Arcane Vortex going to catch himself and Pharaoh in it as they get pulled back. Rockets are going to stop that Moira TP. They're going to sacrifice Moira here as they rotate all 5 people up here. I'm really not too sure why Pharaoh didn't go for a puzzle box this game. We have the Frostburn on Flit. He might be going to that full Dawnbringer. There's the Mighty Blade on Sapphire, so it should be a Shrunken Head as his next item. And Snail continues to work on his gold towards his staff. Oh, mid lane we have Wrath of the Pharaoh catching out the Flint here. Sapphire is leading the front lines. She might look to use the Crystallize here. She's going to open with the Conjuro hit. She's going to get the headbutt on the tree. There's the chain reaction stun from the Torture. And the smackdown on top. It's wolf time, baby. That's going to be 2 kills going the way of Big Ego Crew as they pick up positions 2 and 3 there. But meanwhile, Swiftblade is pushing the top lane. Snail does get that tower in the bottom lane, and he should need about 300 gold more for his Staff of the Master. Will they give up this tower for free is the question. They are pushing the secondary tower here in the mid lane, but we have Snail setting up here with the staff already complete. Excuse me, he is a farming machine. 354 gold per minute. There's the super roll coming in from the Shell Shock, and I'm wrong. The staff is definitely worth it. Okay, so they are going to get the kill there on the Chipper. Okay, I didn't know it was that cool. Definitely increases his roll speed. Yeah, so that just happened. We have a Shroud picked up on the Swiftblade. The tower, did they get the deny? Oh, it's not even dead. What am I saying? So they ended up getting the mid tier 2 and the tier 1, as well as the kill on the Chipper. So a lot of momentum now for Big Ego Crew. They're on a 6,000 golden experience lead, and they're going to maybe get a Kongor kill here, as we don't see any resistance coming out from FiveBabushka. They're going to get that Kongor kill. And all of a sudden, Sapphire is going to have herself a Shrunken Head. Boom, shakalaka. She's got 2 big items now. And this Swiftblade, he was very far ahead of the Sapphire a couple of minutes ago. And out of nowhere, Sapphire has just really picked up her farm. She's now 560 gold per minute. Nearly identical here with the Swiftblade. So she has really picked up the pace. Now, she's still very squishy. And she will need to be very careful about her positioning still. We have everyone grouped up down here for FiveBabushka. They looks like they want to take some kind of an engagement. But we have Big Ego Crew spreading out across their own jungle and their top lane. There we go, Volca. Let's go. The puzzle box is coming in. That's what I like to see. Get that baby to level 3. And tank some of those swift slashes. We're going to have the Shroud opening here from the Swiftblade, but no stun coming in to kind of keep him in place to get that kill. Pharaoh is very tanky with that magic armor, as well as 2300 HP. Got Sapphire here with an illusion ring. She's going to pound some damage in. And by pound some damage in, she's going to murder this tower. Now they are going to board here. They want to take a team fight. It looks like they do not have Torture. He is currently in the mid lane. But we have Sapphire leading the way with her Genjuro and the Ephemeral Forge from Moira here. They're going to stop the TP here from, I believe that was the Magnus. And he will stun away. There's the chain reaction stun from the Torture though, as Mex comes in from the flank. It's a serial killer streak coming out for Sapphire, and they get the Magnus brought down. Everyone but the Chipper TP's out to the top lane, it looks like. So I would love to see Rift Shards as Sapphire's next item. I think with the Rift Shards and the Genjuro, he will be outputting so much damage. Bottom lane, we have Pharaoh getting a solo kill there on the Chipper. Not really too much to talk about. He didn't even need his puzzle box. That is just how easy of a kill that was for him. No tablet on the Chipper. Well, we're going to see if Big Ego Crew can steal away the Kongor here. They have the Bound Eye on the Swift Blade. He's going to jump in with the Swift Slashes. There's the 3-man Lava Surge stun coming in from the Magnus to get the 1 kill on the Torture. There's the Trunk of Death pop from the Sapphire. The Crystal is down in Swift Blade. He will Blade Frenzy and fall back. Now here comes the Crystallize on top. Are they going to look to re-engage though is the question. Looks like they are on the retreat. But here is the Discharge coming in from Flux. The Smackdown on top as they get the kill onto Moira. And that's 2 kills going the way of FiveBabushka. They even get the Snail there as Shorkin was hanging around a little bit too long. But what? They go back in there with the Sapphire. That had to have been miscommunication coming out from Big Ego Crew. And they give up a hat-trick there to the Flux, and that's going to also give up the Kongor now as well. What just happened? Big Ego Crew was in such a good spot here prior to this engagement. They just gave up a massive experience lead, but they are still ahead by 5,000 gold, so not going to be like a massive throw or anything, but definitely a mistake here as they lose. I believe it was 4 players. They lose 4 players and a Kongor. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, we have Torture. He's going to get caught here. Tower in the top lane does fall. Pharaoh is in with the wall onto the Flint Beastwood. Here comes the roll from Snail. Boom! Shakalaka, says the Snail Shell. Arcane Vortex going to lock down the Switchblade here. He is inside that. He's going to get the Blade Frenzy off. Here comes the Eruption from Magnus. It's going to do some damage to the Pharaoh and the Snail, but they are very tanky, and they're maybe looking to turn this one around. There is still many alive here. They're going to go in on the Magnus. He is currently out of mana. He has a Chalice coming up, and he's going to get the Lava Surge off. But he will get sniped out by that Dreamcatcher and the Firefly. Meanwhile, Pharaoh, he's going to lock down the Flux. He's going to get headbutted by the Reckless Charge into that unstable shard. And Sapphire will get the kill there on the Flux. So they will actually get 3 kills to follow up that death on their Torturer. And we have a buyback on the Magnus as well as the Flint. Flint is respawning in 15 seconds. Oh, there's the Rift Shards. I love it. I love the item build coming in from Huge Soul here on the Sapphire. We have the Puzzle Box level 3 now completed on the Pharaoh. Switchblade, he's in with the Shroud. He's going to go in with the Swift Slashes. Now, he is not getting any kills just yet. Pharaoh is going to take some damage. There is no Tablet or Arcane Vortex there to save him. The Tablet is on the Torture, so he will end up falling. They do get the slashes used here. Here comes the Superman roll coming in from the Snail, but they decide to cancel it. I think that was the correct decision there, as that would have perhaps been a very big mispositioning to follow up that roll. Snail is going to Veiled Rod here. Is it going to get broken, though, is the question. Magnus was thinking about checking the rune here, but haste will spawn, and Mr. Snail will be not as slow as he normally is. He will be a very speedy Snail. The Sapphire, she will go for the TP on out. I think you killed it, man. He was just happily hitting that shard. So we got the Fulgen Juro now on the Switchblade. We're starting to see the battle of the carries now. As Switchblade, he is 600 gold per minute. Sapphire a little bit behind him, but still very threatening with 300 damage a hit. The Switchblade as well, almost on 300 damage a hit. Both heroes with crit. Chipper looks like he's getting kind of close to his tablet of command. Eruption being channeled here in the top lane on the Pharaoh with the help of Switchblade. The puzzle box is down. He's going to get the mana burn on the Magnus now. Are they going to be able to get any return kills? The TPs are coming in. Here comes the Superman roll from the Snail. He's going to roll in on to the Switchblade. Torture is here as well. He's not going to get the chain reaction stun though. There is the Arcane Vortex, but the slashes are going to continue going here, and Torture, he will end up falling. They are not able to get any return kills here, so 2 deaths on the side of Big Ego crew as FiveBabushka will fall back with their double tap on their Switchblade. Sapphire going to, looks like, try to look for a pick off here as he's shrouding into the Legion jungle. He's got that shroud up in 8 more seconds. Gonna get a ward of sight down here. He's going to run into the Chipper. Is he going to go for this kill, though, is the question. He puts the shard down into the headbutt. Boom, boom, boom! As he takes down the Chipper and more or less 2 hits from that shard. Switchblade here in the bottom lane. He's going to pop the Blade Frenzy. He did not go for the TP, though. Do they have the vision of him here? They do not. He is going to sneak past them as the dust comes out, but a little bit too late. Could not get dusted through that Blade Frenzy, of course, but it's definitely lacking that vision to spot him out. And that brand new ward that just got placed here by the Sapphire going to get immediately removed from that Boundai. Kongor has spawned for Big Ego crew here at the Hellborn Kongor. We have Rift Shards level 3 now. He's critting for almost 600 damage. The Flux with a Barrier Rattle. We haven't really talked a lot about Flux this game. He's more or less just kind of a beefy tank, but he's not really outputting a lot of damage in these fights. He is... Okay, never mind. He's at 15%, apparently. He is actually the top damage dealer, not only in the game, but in his team. He's tied up there with Sapphire, so I am mistaken. The Flint Beastwood has kind of fallen off, though. He has even picked up a Tablet of Command, so he was off to a really good start earlier on in this game. Strike it, friends. There's the level 4 Rift Shards now. He's hitting for almost 350 damage. Switchblade completes his Dawnbringer. He's porting to the bottom lane, it looks like. Oh boy. He might find himself a kill or 2 here. Magnus is going to stun up the Shell Shock here. Here comes the Blade Frenzy. On top of that, Genjuro, Torture. Looks like he had already used his tablet. Arcane Vortex not going to achieve a whole lot here. Snail, he's going to get the roll onto the Magnus, and he will get the 1 kill, but he's going to get Swift Slash here, and he will fall. We have a Gnome's Wisdom on the Snail as well. Moria does have a portal key. Barrier Rattle on the Creep's going to prevent some damage, but they will be taken out there by the Shard. Flux picks up a Mighty Blade. Okay, so either a Frostal Skull or a Shrunken Head. We got almost 3,000 gold here on the Swift Blade. See if he goes for something like a Wing Bow, perhaps, or we'll see what he goes for here. Whether it's an offensive or a defensive item. Come on, Volka, you got this. Rocket, 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 snipe. Nope. So we continue to have a pretty close game here. 37 minutes. We only have a 1,300 gold and 1,000 experience difference. Here comes the roll. He's gonna get caught. Oh my god, that damage on the Swift Blade was nuts. 3-man roll coming in. Was that with a Mana Sunder? I did not. I think the Mana Sunder went off there as well. We're just gonna catch the Magnus here, but the Steam Bath will disjoint that Shards of Harkon stun. The Crystallize comes out. He's trying to catch the Flint here. Snail is going to get that debuff with that Soul Trap, and they are going to get the kill there on the Flint. And meanwhile, the Magnus also goes down to the Pharaoh here. What is happening? Big Ego Crew finding the kills on 3 players. Swiftblade will buy back here, but a massive fight coming in. And now Chipper gets caught here by the Pharaoh. He still had his Wrath of the Pharaoh, it looks like. Huge plays coming in from Big Ego Crew. Sapphire over 600 GPM now. She's got another 4,000 gold saved up. So Swiftblade, he was just sitting on 3,000 gold. He has to buy back on top of that death, and that will really set him back in terms of keeping up with this Sapphire now. The Sapphire has almost enough money to buy a big item here. They will use the glyph here. The blade goes in with the swift slashes. There's the pull from the Flux. Sapphire is just going to melt. She did not have a shrunken head. And Torture will fall as well. It's a double tap for Flux. What is going on? It's just so back and forth. Pharaoh's going to get caught here as well by Magnus and Swiftblade. And this Pharaoh is going to fall. That's 3 kills now going the way of FiveBabushka. They pick up a hat trick here on the Flux. Well, they do have a buyback on their Sapphire as well as their Pharaoh, but do they really want to use these buybacks? Portal Key as well picked up on the Snail. Buyback from the Sapphire. Here comes the roll. Oh my god, the damage onto Magnus. He gets the focus buffer at the very end there, but what is that damage? Holy cow. Shrunken Head is popped here by the Sapphire, the Conjuro, and here comes the Arcane Vortex, the roll. I don't know if that stunned up them inside. Swiftblade is going to come out. He does not have a Blade Frenzy. Here comes the wall from the Pharaoh. He is being locked down. Sapphire does not have a Crystal up for one more second. She's going to get the Crystal up now, and Swiftblade does go down. He did not have a slash, and Pharaoh goes down as well. Flint, he's got the debuff on him. He will fall. And Big Ego Crew is on the chase here. Chipper will fall. They did use 2 buybacks here. And it looks like Flint Beastwood, did he buy back? Or was that earlier? He did buy back here as well. Okay. So both teams forced to use a couple of buybacks. And now we have 3 players dead for the side of FiveBabushka. We got Magnus in the bot lane, going to try to, looks like, counter push the wave here. Moira was getting ready to get the catch here. Second buyback going to be used on the Flip Beastwood. Yeah, the money shot, putting some pressure on the Torture there. Here comes an eruption being channeled. There's the roll from Snail. He's going to avoid it, and the Shrunken Head is popped from the Sapphire. The crystal is down, but Torture will fall. Sapphire is going to fall back here. There's the Stay Still coming out, and they do not have Pharaoh, as it looks like he just respawned. So they're not going to continue pushing here, despite Switchblade being dead for another 10 more seconds. He's going to miss that word of sight with the Bound-Eye. Sapphire has another 3,800 gold despite that buyback. The question now is, what will he look to buy? I still think something like a Nullstone could be quite good to not only block the Flux Pull, but also to block the Swift Slashes. We'll see what he decides to go for. He might go for something like a Symbol of Rage. Oh, not that item. There's the Nullstone. Okay, I do think the Nullstone is quite good. Gives him lots of sustain on top of the spell block. There are some pretty key spells here. He can also block the Money Shot. Despite them having a lot of tablets on the team, I think it is still quite good. So once again, the Kongor is fun. I think this is now the 3rd or 4th Kongor. They have 3 Kongors on the side of Legion, and 2 Kongors on the side of Hellborn, so this will be their 3rd Kongor. Sapphire is critting for almost 800. So we have Shrunken Head picked up on Flux. That is a new item. I don't think we've seen a whole lot of item progression from Flint, and that's due to him having to use the 2 buybacks. Oh, here we go. Wrath of the Pharaoh is going to miss, though. Unfortunately, he catches the Catapult, and that is going to pull them into retreat mode. But here comes the discharge from Flux. They are just going to get the Ephemeral Forge here from the Moira, and now Pharaoh. Can he make the escape is the question. The 2-man Lava Surge coming in from the Magmus. He's going to catch both the Moira and the Pharaoh. The Arcane Vortex is down. The Crystallize on top. Are they going to get any kills coming out of this? They are going to get the 1 kill on the Magmus. The Moira does fall as well. Now Shortcan on the Snail will fall as well, but the Switchblade, he is going to survive with very low life. They're turning their attention onto the Flux. There is the 2nd Wrath of the Pharaoh now onto the Flint Beastwood, and Flux is going to be very low here in the background. That Crystallize kind of resetting the team fight now. Flux is very low on top of that Torture. Torture, will he be able to get the kill there in the background? Looks like Flux will go down, and they do get the kill onto the Switchblade, and Pharaoh, he is in the midst of things. Will they be able to get the kill here on the Flint? The 2nd buyback coming out. He will avoid the 3rd Wrath of the Pharaoh. It looks like he got given the Staff of the Master from the Snail, so that is why we saw so many Wrath of the Pharaohs in this fight. I did not even notice he upgraded the Pharaoh there, but they do force out the 2nd buyback here from the Switchblade, so he and the Flint Beast would no longer with any buybacks, and it's starting to come down to crunch time here. One more good team fight coming in from Big Ego Crew, and they will most likely net themselves a barracks here. So again, Switchblade was not able to get off his slashes in that fight. They did an excellent job of locking him down. Without the assistance of either a sheep or a hellflower.
You should have seen your face. It went...
Hi donkey cockroaches. I just finished cleaning my Hitler posters in my room that I share with my mother. By the way, I'm sad watching these Scrim because I cannot help but think. The only virgin missing in these games is myself. Fucking cockroaches.
Thank you for the donation. We're going to have a jump here from the Magmus here. They're going to catch the Moira. Moira will go down to the Switchblade. And Snail, he rolls in on the Magmus with the help of the Torture. They will bring down the Magmus. That is 1-for-1 engagement now. Pharaoh, will he look to go in with the Wrath of the Pharaoh, though, is the question. He is going to line it up here on the Switchblade. The tablet immediately on the Switchblade. The puzzle box is popped, and Switchblade is on the run now as the team support is coming in from the back line. He has another Wrath of the Pharaoh coming up in 9 more seconds, but the focus buffer is applied here to the Switchblade. And we see a full retreat coming out. Big Ego Crew will now turn their attention toward the Kongor here. but deciding that it might be a little bit too risky here to take this fight with all 5 players alive. So we have Switchblade. He's going to pop the bound eye here. See if they have any wards on the Kong Pit. He will not find any. So we have a 2,800 gold and 5,000 experience lead here for our Hellborn side. You could argue it's a little bit more than that due to the surplus of buybacks here being used by our Legion side. The Big Ego crew in a fairly comfortable spot here. They still have one more buyback on their Sapphire, and he is currently sitting on 3,000 gold. We're going to try to pressure this mid-Rax here, but as we can see, they are currently up here in the top lane. Sapphire going to pop her quick shield. She is going to attack. The Raxes are falling very quickly. There's going to be the Glyph forced out here, and they will put quite some good pressure here on the Raxes, and there's no Glyph currently up anymore. Here comes the Superman roll coming in from the Shell Shock. The Rat of the Pharaoh lines up, and Swiftblade falls. He does not get his Blade Frenzy off, and that could do it. There are no buybacks here on the Swiftblade. Sapphire going to pound the auto attacks here on the Rax. The Moira will lock down, it looks like Magnus here in the Arcane Vortex, and they will get the first Rax of the game. The Superman roll coming in, but they will cancel it as they do not want to dive the tier 4 structures here. The Crystal is down to try to box them out. Rather, the Pharaoh comes in onto the Flint Beastwood. Are they going to get the kill onto the Flint? He does not have a buyback as well. Flint Beastwood will fall. The Trunket is popped from the Sapphire here. Magnus will fall, and it is disastrous coming in for FiveBabushka. Only the Flux and the Chipper are alive. The Crystallize is going to be used here onto both the Chipper and the Flux, and they will get the tower here in the top lane. Melee Raxes will fall as well as the ranged Rax, and that is a 2 Rax lead now coming out for Big Ego crew, as Switchblade is still dead for 40 more seconds. The Kongor is up, and they will turn their attention toward that Kongor before they decide to go for that 3rd and final Rax. They would have had to have gone through this secondary outer tower. You see Moira spawning her Ephemeral Forge here, but as we can see, they are currently in the base working on those creeps. And a Jade Spire picked up on the Torturer. Okay. There's a Sheepstick on the Sapphire. Looks like he'll get rid of those Knuckles. Decides to go over that Sheepstick. You know, it's one of those cases where I feel like, oh, it looks like he didn't actually buy it, but a Sheepstick could be quite good in this situation going up against the Switchblade, because it is very hard to control him as the Sapphire. I do think the Sheepstick would be quite good. We see a double damage here on the Sapphire. He is currently hitting for almost 600 damage. There is a Ward of Revelation down here. Here come the auto attacks. And with a 1,138 crit on the Chipper. He just gets melted there by that unstable shard. Holy cow, that damage coming in from Sapphire. So one more Rex to go here. Sapphire with a buyback and money for a post haste. Switchblade is going to need to port back before they can look to initiate here. Here comes Moira with the Ephemeral Forge, going to lock on the Flux. He's going to pop the Shrunken Head. Here comes the Discharge. It's going to pull them in. Magnus gets a 2-man stun into Eruption onto both the Snail and the Pharaoh. But here comes Shell Shock. He's diving the base onto the Magnus, putting a lot of pressure. Rather, the Pharaoh locking down the Flint Beastwood here. Flint will get tableted. And Switchblade, he will just get locked down. He cannot get his slashes off. Once again, he will fall. And the Concedevo comes out. Big Ego crew does it here with the Sapphire at the 51-minute mark as they take game number 2 here, and they even up the series 1 game apiece. So once again, we'll go on a break here. We'll see if there will be a game 3 or not. It is starting to get a little late over in Europe. Big Ego Crew specifically has played 3 scrims now, as they did Scrim Donkey Kong earlier today, 1 game. So we'll see if they have enough gas to go for one more game or not, but we'll take a break here and we will be back.